party people, what's going on? Space Cowboy here, welcome back to the channel. Got another video for you guys today. Before we begin today's video, please make sure to drop a like down below. It's been helping the channel out a lot, so I greatly appreciate that, so please keep it up. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're new here to get more Dallas Cowboys content from yours truly now and in the future. And finally, hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live or post new content. So, there's this rumor circulating that Jadeveon Clowney is reportedly interested in playing for the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. You know, that's one of his top two destinations, or rather the two destinations that are at the top of his list, however you want to word it. And, you know, there have been circles talking about, do the Cowboys, you know, are they interested, and would they bring in a guy like Jadeveon Clowney? Now, it really depends on a couple factors. It depends on how much money he's asking for and what you really want to do with him. Now, for me, I think he's the perfect one-year deal type of guy, where it's like you bring him in on a cheap deal and then you let him walk and get, you know, hope he does very well enough to basically give you a comp pick. Would he be eligible? I don't know, because I know the comp pick formula can be confusing at times. But for me, I think that Jadeveon would be a type of guy that I would put money into if he's willing to, you know, if he's willing to come down to the right price. I don't want to invest in this guy long term. I think you already have a guy that has a skill set that is equal or better than him in Tank Lawrence. You know, many people have said that, oh, you know, we need more defensive line help, which I agree. My only thing is you know, do we have enough? Because you also have to realize that, you know, with us bringing back Aldon Smith back into the fold, and who knows if he makes the team, you still have Randy Gregory that still has yet to be reinstated. You know, we don't know exactly what the hell's going on there, but if Randy Gregory is to be reinstated, I don't think there's room for Jadeveon. That's the problem, is like, I think we've, you know, don't get me wrong, I would love to have as much talent in here as possible, but you can only have so many, you know, chefs in a kitchen, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm not really good with analogies. But with that being said, though, do I think the Cowboys should really pursue Jadeveon and maybe bring him in? It depends on the price, and it depends on what the plan is. I think that if you're planning him to either start or be in the rotation, or basically have the Robert Quinn type of role, I don't know, because with Jadeveon has been a pretty damn good run stuffer, which is something that I think the Cowboys, like I said, already have in Tank. Would I pay someone $17 million to be an elite run stuffer when with what he brings to the table? Probably not. You know, Tank has been on the field consistently. There have been a couple hiccups here and there, obviously, but still, he's put up pretty damn good numbers for the position he plays at, and I wouldn't want to pay another boatload of money. Not only that, I don't think he would fit into this equation to a guy like Jadeveon. I wouldn't mind bringing him in for a year. But when it comes to the whole, you know, bringing in the high-priced free agents, honestly, I'm not going to be mad if we picked up a guy like Jadeveon, but I don't think we need him, if I'm being completely honest. You know, his skill set is nice to have as a luxury when you have a defensive line rotation, but, you know, if you're paying him a solid amount of money, you know, you would expect for him to start if he you know, does well, but it really comes down to what the Cowboys are trying to do on defense. I don't know exactly what they're going to be running. From what I'm, you know, if you know, ask me to guess, I think it's going to be one of those hybrid schemes where they'll, you know, they'll majority, you know, of the time use the 4-3, but they will use 3-4 packages here and there. You know, when it comes to Jadeveon's stats, he's been relatively consistent, but what I mean by that is, you know, he's had solid numbers, but someone that I would pay $17 million for, probably not. You know, sack numbers, he's, you know, getting about like 3 to 6 a year. Again, I don't value that too high because, again, he's a defensive end, and defensive ends have a lot more to do than just get sack numbers. Those are nice to have. He does have several, forced fumbles. I look at his, his tackles and tackle, that kind of stuff. He does well with that, but otherwise, I don't see a reason for the Cowboys to seriously pursue him. I mean, if you put, a gun to my head and said, like, oh, Space, would you either have Jadeveon Clowney or, as much as I hate to bring him up, Jamal Adams, I'll go with Jadeveon Clowney easily. I mean, I'm not giving up any draft capital at worst. Paying a guy $8 million to see what he can do. 8 to 10 million, I guess I'll say there. To see what he can do. And if he does well, he goes into free agency and maybe gets you a comp pick depending on the situation. I doubt you'll get one because the Cowboys, might not, get all the comp picks that they're slated to get. But I will say this, I definitely do think if you're looking for a Band-Aid, if you want to call it, in the absence of Robert Quinn, I think that maybe Jadeveon's your guy. It just comes down to what type of players you want, and like rather, how do you help him fit into your, into what you're trying to do. I'm pretty like neutral when it comes to something like this because it's like we're entering a new era where we have a new coaching staff, we're having new schemes implemented and new approaches to things. So I don't know how Jadeveon would fit in the fold regarding that, but I look at his accolades, and here's the thing, yeah, he has more Pro Bowls, he has more like nods, in terms of that than Tank. But my whole thing is like when you honestly look at it, I do think that for the age he's at, for the price he's asking for, if he's asking, for a cheaper deal, 1-year deal as a prove-it deal to try and revitalize his career, by all means, okay. But I'm not going to pay this dude like a 5-year deal. We don't even have the room for that because we still haven't paid Dak yet. And not only that, you have guys down the road that need to be paid, like LVE, for example. You have guys like Michael Gallup, if you want to keep him in the fold, that you might, if you want to pay him. You have several guys, and even the depth guys too. Like, I'm not saying that these guys are per se depth guys, but like Cheeto and Jordan and Xavier Woods, those are guys that are quality level starters. It really just comes, again, like, as much as I keep repeating myself, and I implore people to, in the comment section, tell me how you feel about this. It really just comes down to what the Cowboys are looking to do, because I think when you look at our defensive line, I've talked about it, I think that the defensive line for the Cowboys has a ton of talent on it. You just drafted Neville Gallimore out of Oklahoma. You just had a situation where, you got Tank a bunch of money. You brought in Aldon Smith on a prove-it deal. You got Randy Gregory probably coming back, depending on how long the NFL wants to take to reinstate him. And you got guys like Dorrance Armstrong and several others that could do well in a pass rush rotation. And not only that, let's not forget Tyrone Crawford. So as you start adding names up, it starts becoming a bit more crowded, and then it's hard to say, well, is this where you like cut someone and bring in Jadeveon? Me personally, I think that we're fine right now unless the Cowboys feel like he would bring something to the table that they like. People might say, why don't you just, cut Crawford and sign Jadeveon? I don't think you do that because, honestly, Crawford is, as much as people want to not realize, he is an integral part to the Cowboys defense, in terms of his flexibility, number one, and, his leadership, and just like what he does overall. I think he's he's nice to have. The contract the Cowboys gave him, I would definitely not pay him that much money, but honestly, it's going to probably be a pass for me unless the number comes down or unless there's a plan in place to really fit him in. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of a discussion video about Jadeveon Clowney. I really don't know what's going to happen with him. We'll see. But feel free to leave in the comment section how you feel about the guy. Do you think that the Cowboys should make a move to get him? Do you think that, we should stay put, right price, you name it. Put it down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you could, remember to leave a like, make sure to subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell. And I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.